You've listened to countless YouTube videos and you want to make a change, but you still just don't know what steps to take. Right? I was in that same boat for 2 years until I took action for the first time. And that's extremely slow for most people, but I did. And after I took that action, I changed everything in my life and became a completely new version of myself in under a year. And I'm going to teach you the exact process that I went through so you can do the same thing as me and completely change your life within a year. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Andrew, and I help young, driven, and ambitious men become focused, hardworking, and goal oriented individuals so that they can take control of their lives and work. And if that's you, click the first link in the description if you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, and click the second link to join my free community that won't be free for long. I was in this position where I had been watching self-improvement content for years at this point, and I had made some changes in my life from it, but nothing monumental. And I knew that it was time to make a change when I finally got to college. College was a completely new chapter in my life, and I was officially on my own. So at this point, when I showed up, I went all in on college culture, which in the US is very degenerate, right? There's not a whole lot of good going on in the college culture in the US. So I quickly found out by diving into that head first that just was not the lifestyle I wanted to maintain. I found myself after this in a moment of clarity, just watching a self-improvement video, which I haven't done in months at this point, and it got me thinking that it truly was time to make a change, right? This was my turning point. It was either go all in on the college culture or make a complete 180. And I made that change for real. So this video is going to be the process that I went through to make that change once and for all, and how I completely changed my life in just 1 year. First and most important part of making a change that's real and that lasts, it wasn't adding a bunch of habits or committing hours and hours a day to work or cutting out every single bad thing that I did in my life. It was just one super simple change. And it was realizing that I have the power to choose at any given moment. And you have this as well, right? I realized that after watching that video and being reminded of self-improvement, that I could choose whatever I wanted. Right? I could choose anything and everything in my life. I could choose what I did, when I did it, how I reacted to things in my environment, right? Bad news, good news, how I reacted to people and conversations, and even just how I felt, right? On a moment to moment basis, right? I can choose how I want to be perceived, how I want to feel, and how I want to act. And this is super key for making a real lasting change in your life. Because with this realization comes another realization that basically, up to this point, I was choosing to stay the same. Even though I wanted to change, I was the one choosing to stay the same. Right? I was the one choosing to do the same habits over and over again and live in my comfort zone and go off the deep end into this degenerate scene. Right? I was choosing to not better my life. First, put this into action, right? What it means to be able to choose when I started to read How to Win Friends and Influence People for the first time, right? When I went out, I would choose to act confidently. I would choose to become genuinely interested in other people's stories and listen to them. And I chose to remember people's names that I met. And that's because I remembered that I can always choose, right? It may not be my initial first thought, but knowing that these things are better for me, choosing them, and then just seeing what happens, seeing how it plays out, was a way better use of my time than just choosing to stay the same and not try something new. I could have chosen to use nothing from the book when I was reading it and just go on how I was, but that's not conducive for change and growth. Right? If you want to change and grow, do not do what you've been doing. Right? The first step to completely changing your life in 1 year is to make the choice to change and stick to that choice, right? Stick by your choices. Make the choice to change and don't let that choice fall by the wayside. The second thing I did to completely change my life was adopt mandatory reading for myself each day. And at the time, I had no idea how much return that you really get from books and reading, especially when it's just every single day and consistent. But I knew that it was a good habit that was promoted by a lot of people. So I just threw it in to my day as one of the habits at the time. But now it's become a staple in my day and something that I've actually expanded my requirements on since, because it's just been so useful and helpful in my life. Right. Now, a good place to start and kind of a bare minimum that I would recommend for every day, even on the days where you feel like shit, is to just do 10 pages a day. Right? Just make that a habit. Just 10 pages. That's 10, 20 minutes of your time if you're a super slow reader or the book is super dense. And with these 10 minutes, you're going to get new information, you're going to get new ideas for your work, and you're not going to overload your brain on a bunch of new concepts. So your brain can just kind of actually chew on and digest the information. And it'll give you new ideas. You'll wake up with new ideas the next morning. You'll wake up with new ideas days later about realizations that you had from those pages that you read. Right? And this is just a great habit to continually keep building on what you know from sources that most people are not checking. They're not picking up that book, 99% of the population. So just by getting these pieces of information that most people don't know and chewing on them and really digesting them, you're going to expand your knowledge into that top 1%. Now, what I do is that minimum of 10 pages of a day, but I do 10 pages of an educational book, right? It can be about doing work, your business, your health, right? Whatever, some sort of nonfiction, actual self-improvement or educational book that will directly help me. And then the other 10 pages that I do mandatory, I do 2 sets of 10 pages minimum, is of a spiritual text. And right now I'm doing the Holy Bible, but I've also read the Dhammapada and I started the Upanishads. And it's an amazing, amazing habit that I'm so glad I added, because what you get out of the spiritual text is not even comparable to what you get out of the nonfiction educational self-help books. Right? These texts are great, and they are going to help you for ideas with your business, with your work, with personal health, right, etc. But that is ignoring 50% of the human experience, and that is the human side, right, the spiritual side, the inner struggle side, and working out who you are internally. And spiritual texts, just doing 10 pages a day of these, is going to expose you to a lot of ideas and thoughts that you've probably never heard of before, or never actually seen written how they are in the texts. And it's just going to make you think completely differently about who you are, who we are, and where you come from. And these are great questions to ask and really mull over. And seeing different spiritual texts from completely different backgrounds, different religions and everything, it gives you that way broader worldview perspective of what people have been thinking and learning about for thousands of years. Right? These books have been circulated for multiple thousands of years for a reason. And it's because there is value inside of them. And while every big truth claim in them might not be something that you find accurate or agree with, a lot of the core tenets of these spiritual texts are going to be something that you can relate to, that you can pull wisdom out of, and that you can really learn from. And it's going to hit your brain so much differently than any other book out there. But these spiritual texts are literally just pure wisdom that people have learned through the years. And while there's religious beliefs mixed into them, a lot of value can be taken out of just the wisdom itself if you don't want to get into that, right? This is a huge improvement to the 10 pages of reading task. If you add this into your day, you are not going to regret it. The third piece to completely changing your life is somewhat common, but is truly essential if you want to change your life as fast as possible, right? If you want to get the most out of each day. And that is having a daily routine and a habit tracker, right? I cannot understate how effective these were for improving my growth and change in literally a month. My first month with a routine and habit tracker, I lost 18 pounds when I was more overweight. I missed 2 days of meditation in the whole month. And I seriously just skyrocketed how much work I was able to get done in a day. Additionally, with this, I didn't miss a single gym session that month. And that's because I had the direct feedback of what I was doing in front of me. And I would just execute on my habit tracker and daily routine, right? It takes the thinking and guesswork out of it. And with this, I went from doing, right, this is still in college, 1 to 2 hours per assignment to doing 1 to 2 assignments an hour, right? The length of the assignments didn't change, or the difficulty didn't change. It was literally my ability to focus and get work done that changed, because I was consistently meditating, consistently taking care of my health, consistently in the gym, and I was just maximizing everything that I could in the college dorm life to get the results that I wanted. Going from 1 to 2 hours per assignment to 1 to 2 assignments in an hour is literally like a 3 to 4 times increase in how fast I was working in just a month, right? And that's because of this tracker and schedule. So I highly recommend, at a bare minimum, having the habit tracker so that you know at least how well you're doing your habits, what you're actually doing, and what you need to improve on, right? A daily schedule can come later on, or if you have the freedom to do that and you're not just totally absorbed by work. But having a daily schedule, and especially having that habit tracker, is going to make a world of difference in how fast you make progress and how fast you actually see change in your life. If you take the power of choice that you have in your life, you choose to make a change, and you choose what to engage with each and every moment of each and every day, you combine that with 10 pages of reading nonfiction and 10 pages of spiritual text reading every single day, and you just create a habit tracker and a daily routine that's either flexible or easy to stick to, you are going to be a monster, right? You're going to be unstoppable, and you're going to change dramatically quickly, right? Literally just with the first tip alone, you're going to change dramatically quickly by choosing to engage in everything that you do consciously and not just going on autopilot. You are going to see tremendous change in your life. You're going to choose things that actually make a difference in your life. And you're going to be that person who has no problem executing on all their habits and really becoming that new ideal version of yourself. If you're serious about making change, building your focus, and becoming a hardworking, goal-oriented, absolute beast of a worker, then click the first link in the description and schedule a one-on-one call with me where I'll help you with your unique situation, get on track, get clarity, and adopt that pro mindset for your work. And additionally, I'm going to give you a free bonus video in there, which is super detailed about mindset and how to approach work as a whole. So first link in the description if you're interested. Follow me on X in the third link in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was valuable. And as always, stay blessed.